This segment is brought to you by A.J. Doman Chevrolet. We say yes when others say no.
Hello and welcome to this edition of Bayou Time. I'm your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terrebonne Home Care. Very glad you're joining us. However you may be joining us, we appreciate it. And you know, this time of year, we always like to find out what's going on over in Assumption Parish. We turn our attention to Commander Lonnie Cavalier. Commander, how you doing today?
Good, Keith. Thanks for having us.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it. How about this beautiful weather we're having?
Beautiful day.
Yeah,
beautiful
tell you what.
Next few days.
Yeah, I know that's right. It's nice to have some cool weather coming through. But as we know, whether there's cool weather or hot weather, you guys are always out keeping us safe, making arrests, and I know we got several of those. Let's start with this particular case on first-degree rape for Gage Austin Grow.
Yes, Gage Austin Grow, 29 of 5882 Highway 1, Pankerville, was arrested on first-degree rape charges arising from a series of incidents which allegedly occurred between July of 2022 and July of 2025. On or about July 26, 2025, a female under the age of 12 reported to the Montgomery County, Texas Sheriff's Office that she was raped by a close biological relative on multiple occasions at a residence near Pankerville. Montgomery County, Texas officials initiated an investigation. Their findings were forwarded to the Assumption Parish Sheriff's Office in October of 2025. Detectives here continued that investigation, which focused on an individual now identified as Gage Austin Grow. Detectives obtained probable cause sufficient to request multiple search warrants in connection with this investigation. As a result of executing those search warrants, detectives recovered evidence pertinent to this investigation. At the conclusion of the investigation, detectives secured an arrest warrant charging Gage Austin Grow with first-degree rape. Gage Austin Grow was arrested and booked into the Assumption Parish Detention Center on charges of first-degree rape, where he remains held without bail.
You know, it's one of those things where you read this case and you know, whether or not that comes to fruition or not, 3 years of this potential case and someone under 12 years of age. And so awfully disturbing, Commander, but I got to tell you, as always, so very thankful that he is off the streets and not given the capacity to do that to anybody else. So thank y'all again for the work and the combination, as y'all always do, with other agencies in taking care of this. So again, I'm always so thankful for that, and we should be. So great job. So let's talk a little bit about Mr. Michael Jones, Jr.
Yes, Michael Jones, Jr., 36 of 6774 Highway 308, Belrose, was arrested on felony battery charges arising from a domestic incident at a residence on Highway 308 north of Belrose. Uniformed patrol deputies were dispatched to the location in reference to a domestic incident. The complainant victim advised that she and her domestic partner, now identified as Michael Jones Jr., engaged in a verbal argument. At some point, the incident turned physical. Michael Jones Jr. allegedly struck the victim with a microwave and a kitchen skillet. The victim did sustain injuries consistent with the allegations. Michael Jones Jr. had left the residence prior to law enforcement's arrival. Michael Jones Jr. returned to the location later, at which time he was arrested. Michael Jones Jr. was booked into the Assumption Parish Detention Center on charges of aggravated battery, where he remains incarcerated with his bond set at $50,000.
Wow, and it's so very interesting. I'm just wondering how an incident in a kitchen turns down to someone throwing a microwave at somebody else.
Yeah, case, but
kind of an interesting case, right? I'm not sure that I've ever heard of assault by microwave.
Somewhat unusual.
So we get lots of interesting cases, Commander, and I think that's certainly one of them. You know, one of those things that we're always trying to find out and trying to make sure when someone's got a court date, they've got to show up. And if they don't, then a warrant goes out for their arrest for another event. So not only what they were originally arrested for, but then they get a potential for that. Let's talk about this as it relates to Frank E. Floyd Jr.
Yes, Frank E. Floyd Jr., 46 of 32655 Bayou Road, Plaquemine, Louisiana, was arrested on a warrant charging him with failure to appear in court in Assumption Parish on felony drug charges. Frankie Floyd Jr. was previously arrested in Assumption Parish, and as a result of that arrest was ordered to appear in court on July 28th of 2025. Frankie Floyd Jr. failed to appear as ordered, resulting in a warrant being issued for his arrest on July 29, 2025. Frank E. Floyd Jr. was arrested during a traffic stop by Louisiana State Police on October 18th of 25. Frankie Floyd Jr. was released to the custody of the Assumption Parish Sheriff's Office on October 21st. Frankie Floyd Jr. was booked into the Assumption Parish Detention Center on charges of failure to appear in court in Assumption Parish on account of possession of methamphetamine. Frank E. Floyd Jr. remains incarcerated with his bond set at $50,200.
Commander, it's another one of those types of cases where y'all are working with somebody else. They do a traffic stop, they stop him, and we realize not only does this guy have this issue with $50,000 bond being held for his possession of illegal drugs, but he's also got this failure to appear. And so, again, I love the fact that we can have this communication, and it works out so well with other places so that we can hold people accountable for what's going on where they get arrested and what's going on potentially in other areas.
Yeah, that's why it's so important that everybody in our office does their job so that everybody beyond us can do theirs. So, and this is something that we watch very, very closely.
Commander, we appreciate it. Thank you for all of the help. We'll bring you back with some other updates, as we appreciate always what you guys do.
Thank you.
Very good. All right, guys, that'll do it for this particular segment, but don't go anywhere. I got a whole lot more right here on Bayou Time.
This segment was brought to you by A.J. Doman Chevrolet. We say yes when others say no.
Hello and welcome back to this edition of Bayou Time. Again, your host, Keith Weissite, licensed clinical social worker with Terraborn Home Care. Very glad you're joining us, however you may be joining us. We appreciate it very, very much. And we always like to turn our attention to the happenings and things that are going on in Assumption Parish. Welcome back to the show, Commander Lonnie Cavalier. Commander, thanks again for joining us.
Hey, Keith, thanks for having us. Appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Same here. I know we got a lot to cover. We also want to cover some of the things happening with this event coming up with Halloween. So let's start with this drug law violation by Trevor Glenn Leeret.
Yes, Trevor Glenn Leeret, 28 of 2771 Red Cut Road, West Monroe, Louisiana, was arrested on a warrant charging him with failure to appear in court in Assumption Parish on drug and gun law violations. Trevor Glenn Leeret was previously arrested in Assumption Parish, and as a result of that arrest was ordered to appear in court on November 6, 2023. Leeret failed to appear as ordered, resulting in a warrant being issued for his arrest on November 8, 2023. On October 16, 2025, Trevor Glenn Leeret was arrested by the Grant Parish Sheriff's Office. Trevor Glenn Leeret was released to the custody of the Assumption Parish Sheriff's Office on October 21, 2025. Leeret was booked into the Assumption Parish Detention Center on charges of failure to appear in court in Assumption Parish on November 6 on counts of prohibited acts, Schedule 2 controlled dangerous substances, possession of a firearm by a convicted felon, illegal carrying of weapons. Trevor Glenn Leeret remains incarcerated and was ordered held without bond until his next court date.
Very good, Commander. Thank y'all. Again, one of those things where working with other agencies pays off. Again, and this last one, we have this ICE arrest on DeAndre Dwayne Miles.
Yes, DeAndre Dwayne Miles, 26 of 123 Ewell Street, Belrose, Louisiana, was arrested on a warrant charging him with a probation violation. A uniformed patrol deputy assigned to the ICE detail participated in a traffic stop on Highway 70 on Wednesday evening. The deputy made contact with a passenger in the violator vehicle, and that individual provided a fictitious name. After additional investigation, the subject was positively identified as DeAndre Dwayne Miles. Deputies determined that Miles was wanted on a warrant for a probation violation. DeAndre Dwayne Miles was arrested and booked into the Assumption Parish Detention Center on a charge of probation violation. DeAndre Dwayne Miles was on probation for a December 6, 2023 conviction for possession of cocaine. At that time, Miles was placed on 18 months of supervised probation. Miles violated the conditions of his probation, resulting in a warrant being issued for his arrest. DeAndre Dwayne Miles was ordered held without bail.
Again, Commander, we appreciate all the hard work by all of the different units, ICE units as well, patrol, all of those people doing their job. You know, big holiday coming up. I know we want to make sure that people are going to have fun, but we want to make sure that they follow the rules as well. There's a lot of good recommendations that you guys put out. Tell us a little bit about some of those suggestions that y'all have from the Assumption Parish Sheriff's Office for those people in your area and how they can stay safe.
Yeah, well, first, we place a huge focus on the children and keeping them safe. And some of the things that we suggest each year are that parents and children should avoid multicolored candies, i.e. unpacked candies resembling Skittles. No misfortune to Skittles, but unpackaged candy in those colors are known to contain fentanyl and other type drugs.
Yeah.
Be cautious of those multicolored candies.
Right.
Inspect all candy before allowing children to eat candy. Only allow children to collect commercially packaged candy and avoid any packages that are repackaged or open. Right. Do not visit homes of known sex offenders. If the porch or outside lighting is on at a sex offender's residence, we ask that you report it immediately to the Sheriff's Office at 985-369-2912 or 911, as that is illegal and violates the sex offender's terms of probation.
Yeah, Commander, that's a big one, huh? Commander, that's a big one. Knowing who the sex offenders are in your area is really big because they have to report. But those who have reported, we need to know who they are and make sure we don't go to those houses.
That's correct. And that's the purpose of our mail-outs that we do.
Right.
That we're required by law and identifies those people.
All right, very good.
Another one is make sure all manufactured costumes fit properly to avoid tripping into a loud range of motion. Choose costumes that are well illuminated, bright, and glow in the dark, and consider using face paint instead of these large, bulky masks. Have the children well lit. Consider glow sticks, lights attached to costumes, and reflective tape. Children or guardians should be equipped with a flashlight. Children should be accompanied by adults at all times. Try to travel in groups instead of alone. Trick or treat at well-lit locations and know the residents. Never allow a child to enter a stranger's home. Follow the rules of the road. If you are driving, drive slow, be alert for walking trick-or-treaters. If children are walking, they should be off the roadway and always accompanied by adults. Drivers should use extra caution when unloading and reloading kids. Make sure they are secured and seated while your vehicle is in motion. Sheriff Falcon wishes everyone a safe and joyous Halloween experience.
And I know Commander Lonnie Cavalier is also wishing everybody a safe Halloween, and you guys have the people out on the streets to make sure that we keep it safe. Commander, thanks again for what y'all do, and a happy Halloween to you.
Thanks for having us, Keith, and same to you all. Have a safe one.
We appreciate it. All right, guys, that'll do it for this particular segment, but don't go anywhere. Got a whole lot more right here on Bayou Time.
This segment was brought to you by Buick. Exceptional by design.